Greetings, everyone. I hope that you're doing well within your space and time. What we're going to be talking about is a subject that we're going to get deeper into on next week's event. I'm going to put it on the screen here so you're able to see that event coming up. Registration ends on Monday. What we're going to be talking about is a grid down scenario, societal collapse, a situation that none of us would want to imagine or go through. But based on the antics of the anti-humans and the aliens around us, they are trying to make this a reality, and it's becoming a subject that many are talking about now on a regular basis. We also need to go over at least an aspect of it. And we're going to be talking about the 4 human laws. These laws are fight, feed, flee, and fornicate. The 4 F's. Dr. Blair talked about this many, many times in the past. The 4 F's, the base rules of a human, the reptile brain. We got into this in great detail in the Soul's Doorway class that took place in the summer of last year. Hopefully you were there. Shout out to everybody who took out to the class. Hopefully you are even at a better state, a deeper state than you were previously. All right. So we're here if needed. So with that being said, in the movie I, Robot, hopefully that's a pretty good movie, got into many different metaphysical aspects. But if you haven't seen it, these synthetic humans, or called androids, they had also some base laws. They call it the laws of robotics. In these laws of robotics, there were 3. The first one stated, a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Okay. The second law of robotics was a robot must obey the orders given it by a human being, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. In the third law of robotics was a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. So humans have these as well. Again, we call this the 4 F's: fight, feed, flee, and fornicate. In a grid down scenario, what happens with these people when most people have this, right? Most humans have it, that reptile brain. So what happens when they revert back to this in a extremely stressful societal collapse situation? Those who fight, those are the easiest to imagine. In that scenario, many people, especially in movies, they tend to visualize that scenario majority of the time. Okay. And that's just people harming other people, humans harming humans. That should have been in the base programming. Human does not harm human. All right. But nevertheless, that is one of the first of the base programming that people will revert back to. They will find people, random people, to cause aggression against. Okay. And that aggression may leave one of those humans perished. People will hunt out other people because of grudges and so on and so forth. It's a real possibility in a grid down. Next, number 2, the second law of human, let's say, okay, is feed. In a grid down scenario, there are those who, what they want to do is eat. And eat a lot. All right. So what will end up happening to those is that in a grid down scenario, absolute chaos is taking place around us. It's a scenario that none of us will want to envision. They decide to cook up a meal, whether they are just eating chips, whether they are, smashing some waffles or something like that, or cooking a 5-star meal. They're going to sit back and cook and eat and eat and eat. That is the scenario for those who have the feed programming, which is activated when they are at a very high level of stress, especially one that may happen in a grid down scenario. The next one is also one that could be easily visualized, and that's fleeing. The third law of human. Very easy. Anything that happens, we see anything happens even right now, whether it be people are running from gunshots, whether it's an explosion, whether it's an environmental situation, flooding, so on and so forth. People tend to run away from that chaotic event. But something's a little bit different here, right? We're talking about societal collapse. So if this is the case, this event is all around. There's nowhere to run. So those people at first will run because they went back to their base programming. Okay, law number 3 of human, right? So they're going to run. But then it's going to kick in that there's actually nowhere to run to because chaos is happening all around. Where to run? Where to run? So what's going to happen is that those people are going to start to run within themselves. They're going to start to, you're going to see people just randomly collapse, people just randomly go into corners and just shaking and eyes closed and just not there. They may just be standing up walking around. You could say almost like zombified, right? Walking around like nothing's there because they're not there anymore. They're so deep within that they're consciously not here any longer because they have to flee somewhere. The next scenario, we can call this law number 4, is an interesting one. It's one that people don't really think about, but there are those who revert back to this programming, and that's to fornicate. While all types of explosions are happening all around us, people are shooting off here and erupting things there. They're causing their own eruption in their private spaces. That's what they go back to in a grid down scenario. All right, to do certain acts. Okay, so this is just a glimpse. We're going to get deep into water purification and many, many other subjects and deeper into this subject as well on next Saturday, February 10th. If you haven't bought your ticket, this is an event that is happening at the Meta Center and online virtually. All right. So if you want to go deeper into the scenario and learn about herbs, because it's about herbs and what herbs can be used for certain situations like headaches and nausea and going and so on and so forth, right? So we want to get deeper into this, where if that were to happen, many of you have cabinets full of medicine or herbs. What can you use this for in a scenario that if it was that grim? So I look forward to seeing you next week. Until the next time we speak, take care.